Hello, everyone, and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. We are doing an altcoin of the day video, and today we are going to be taking a look at Optimism. It is available on Coinbase. I do regular videos on the top 10 about market cap coins available on Coinbase and Robinhood. Because Coinbase has so many, I'll do these altcoin of the day videos by request, or if it's one I've heard about, and present it to you guys. So Optimism, it has a $3.7 billion market cap. Popularity, it says it's the number 26 crypto, and it is a layer 2 protocol and smart contract platform that aims to enable low cost and near instantaneous Ethereum transactions. Yay. If you don't know what any of that means, that's okay. I'll get to that later. And guys, if you are new to my channel, I am trying to gear this channel to the low to medium risk, even new investor, people looking into stocks or crypto. Investing doesn't have to be a stressful thing to do. And there are ways to simplify it. On this channel, I like to take a look at some different factors, some different areas of technical analysis, and really try to simplify it as much as possible. Now, that isn't the best thing you can always do. Obviously, the more research you do, the better. However, if there is a project that you have done your research on and you really like it, then you can use some of these simple approaches to see, hey, is this something I should buy now? Am I going to get more value out of it? As far as stocks go, is it something I like and use? As far as cryptos go, is it something I've researched, and do the technicals and the time make sense? Is it something that's at near yearly highs, overbought, high in greed, or is it something that is oversold, low in greed, high in fear, all that? So speaking of fear and greed, because this is market psychology, we're at 72, and recently we got all the way up near 80. So before that, we got into extreme greed, which is 75 and higher. Before or during the ETF approval, it was a sell the news event, but then it wasn't, and we surpassed that. Bitcoin's at like 51, 52K right now, and we were recently at 79, now we're at 72. And what's been curious to me about that is this level of fear and greed up here. We haven't been there since November of 2021. And I know exactly what Bitcoin was doing in November of 2021, because that was the very top of Bitcoin in November of 2021. That's been the last top of Bitcoin and the highest price it's ever been. So our greed levels right now match that. That doesn't mean that greed can't jump higher. And fear and greed, it isn't a one-to-one correlation with price. However, you could take a look here at the mid-cycle top with Bitcoin in 2019. It didn't get to new all-time highs, but we got up to 95 on fear and greed. And then the next time we got up to those levels, obviously Bitcoin was higher in price. So just something to watch. And overall, greed is trending higher. So all that being said, Bitcoin looking bullish. It's important to know what Bitcoin's doing, because Bitcoin is the sea that raises all the ships that are the altcoins. So as long as Bitcoin's bullish, things are looking good for altcoins. If you're not familiar with this is a 4-year cycle, rainbow chart. About every 4 years, Bitcoin has a top. And so again, those only 4 different data points. That is something to consider. Doesn't mean things have to go that way completely for the next time. So anyways, let's just get into Optimism, and let's take a look at its chart. Now here I drew the fib that really just includes the last year, and so I didn't draw it all the way back here. And right now, what are some things I look at? Well, when I see this chart, I see that the price, even if this is a altcoin I like and use, what do I see? Well, I see that we're near the highest it's ever been. I see that on the weekly, we are in overbought territory on the RSI, which means relative strength index. What you can do, and this for people who are new to this, you can change it to smaller or longer time frames to adjust it. So you can see the chart does change a little bit, the relative strength when we go to the daily. There is a difference here. So this is the 236 fib line, the 618, the 0.5. We got down to the 0.5 briefly, wick down. Love the 618, or I'm sorry, the 382. Yes, love the 382. I apologize. Brain after work. Love the 382, and it's come back up. So next, I'm wondering, hey, is it going to test this again and possibly create new highs? I could see it, and this is just playing around with price a little bit. But let's say Optimism got to something like, let's just put it at around $5 there. Where do you notice that structural support is? Well, that 382 now becomes the 0.5. And to me, it makes sense that it would have some built structure on the 0.5. The last area structure it could have, here we're going all the way up to, well, let's move this here a little bit around or above $6. And then this structural support would be the 618. So if it did come up here, I think this overall would still be macro bullish, because if the price came down, at least in the short to medium term, as long as you stay above the 618, we're good. We'll see what happens. So Optimism, my cat says hi if you could hear him meowing at you. Optimism, it is a very strong altcoin. Again, top 30 overall as of today. So if you got in here, or if you got in here when we had indicators giving you macro weekly and monthly buy signals, then good for you. For you new investors, here's a couple things to consider. I'm going to give you a bullish case and a bearish case. The bullish case would be, if we are in another 4-year cycle, then this is still a decent time to dollar cost average in. If you expect things to have a peak like we've had the last number of cycles. So if you believe we're going to have another 4-year cycle and prices are going to go crazy, then this wouldn't be the worst time to dollar cost average in. Now, would I do so right now with this chart? No, I would wait for better opportunities. If you put in $1,000 in Optimism today, again, don't think about the price. Think about the market cap. A lot of the XRP shells on YouTube don't understand this. The market cap is 3.7 billion. So if you put in $1,000, then you are expecting Optimism to have a $37 billion market cap. I'm not saying it can or can't get there, but that's the magic number you're looking for, something around 37 or higher to 10x your money. And again, bullish case, you're thinking maybe we're over here, and as you can see, the peaks are in the red or the orange. You can say, hey, if we did have a 4-year cycle that peaks sometime mid to late 25, let's be conservative. Maybe instead of peaking in the red, the high 2 reds, what if we only peaked in the orange? Well, if we peaked in the orange, you could say the third band down, then Bitcoin could be 180,000. And if Bitcoin was 180,000, why can't Optimism 10x? You can take a look at it that way. Okay? Bearish scenario, what you could consider is maybe Bitcoin, because it has these 4-year cycles, might be having a mid-cycle high top soon. Possible. I don't know. I don't want to get too much in the prediction game because it's an easy way to look like an idiot. However, if there was a mid-cycle, then what could you expect? These fib lines to come down, or the price to come down to these fib lines. And as long as it stays above the 618, cool. But if it breaks under, then it's going to be lulled to sleep for a while until we get to peak 4-year cycle bull run, if that were to happen. So take that for what you will. Let's take a couple indicators, throw it at it. Let's zoom way out. Let's go to the monthly. We haven't had a buy signal on the monthly since Optimism was $1.33, $1.34. Again, I like to say time in the market's more important than timing the market. So if there is an asset you like, whether it's a stock or a crypto, you could just do this right here. You could use any buy sell indicator. I like this one because it tends to be more front running, less of a laggy indicator. However, it does come with the risk of possibly being eaten up into reversals. There are some other buy sell indicators, such as UT bot alerts, that waits for more confirmation if you want to play it even safer. So let's just say you want to wait for a buy sell signal on the monthly on 3 to 5 cryptos you like, 3 to 5 stocks you like. You can do that, and you're going to have to be way more patient. You can check your stocks and cryptos once a month, put on this indicator, and if it's something you really love, you can say, you know what, I'm only buying monthly. There you go. That could be one of the easiest ways to dollar cost average in. Again, don't put money into anything that you haven't researched, and don't invest what you can't afford to lose. But let's be more realistic here. Let's take a look at the weekly. So when I click the 5 year, it puts us on the weekly, not the monthly. That's why there's a W there. We last got a buy signal 2 weeks ago. However, we've moved up around, what does this say? 36%. So we've already had a big move from 293 to dang near $4. All right. So would I be buying here? Me personally, no. Again, that doesn't mean that Optimism, maybe Bitcoin keeps going up. Maybe Optimism goes to $5, $6. And you're asking yourself, why the hell did I consider anything this stupid YouTuber was saying? Guys, I can't predict anything. What I am trying to help you do, though, is look for good entry points to maximize your value. So if you're spending more time in the market and you're checking some of these indicators and fibs, then we can catch some of these things when we get a buy indicator, when it's settling in on a strong fib support, when it's staying above its moving averages, when things are staying up in a range for a long time, so we're getting accumulation. If we're getting 1 to 3 months, I'd like even 3 months. If we were at 3 months still chopping sideways, then hey, I'd feel even stronger about it. We may get a signal to say Optimism's going down soon, and then possibly catch it at a 0.5 or 382 fib. So just some, if you are willing to be patient, some things to be looking for. Again, even on the daily, we are overbought. And last time we were under 50 on the RSI. Look at this. You could have got Optimism for 3, or if you were very quick, 260. Again, let's be realistic, probably 3 there. So on the weekly, no sell signal yet. We start with the sell. Just like Bitcoin, we had a sell signal that usually moves down even more. I was expecting a slightly deeper move, but it reversed up after a couple of weeks, and we've been going. So things have been going the way of Bitcoin. Let's take a look at a couple other indicators. Let's go to volume-based support and resistance, and you can see here that there's some strong big volume over in this range from 320 all the way to the 0.5, 260. So again, if Optimism were to come back down to here, I think that would be a wonderful place to start dollar cost averaging. If we are to have a mid-cycle top in Bitcoin sometime soon, and let's say it doesn't go higher than, I don't know, let's throw a number out there, 56,000. Let's say Bitcoin stays at 56,000 and Optimism kind of stays up here. Maybe it does go to $5, who knows? And it comes back down to, let's say this is its next macro bottom. For a while, before we get another 4-year cycle, as you can see, this can happen quick. October 2020 to March 21, 4 or 5 months, things can happen very quick. Let's say we do have a mid-cycle top. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe we get an early top. Again, let's just pretend here. I try to present both sides. For the patient investor, if you're willing to wait. Me personally, I would. Then you could say, you know what? I'm going to wait for Optimism to be in this range, 178 to 190. And let's move the fib again. Let's move it up a little. Let's say the price does go up. Well, look at that. The 786 might come up to that range. And this would mean that if Optimism went up there, well, look at that. We'd have $5. The 0.5 would be at that support. We played with this idea before. And maybe if we did get the $5, then Optimism might, if we did have a mid-cycle top, then this would be a nice area to get in should crypto have a big correction before an eventual bull run. Again, we're playing with hypothetical scenarios. We don't know if any of this is going to happen. It probably won't happen. Sometimes you can move the fibs around and see that maybe some of these things will come true and possibly create newer situations that you could look at for opportunities. So I encourage you guys to use TradingView and to draw trend lines and look for patterns and not base your whole strategy off it, but do look for some possible good value entry points by doing so. So that's all we're trying to do here is present possible scenarios to find good value. Again, I think if you started dollar cost averaging in around 250, and then even if it got as deep as like 160, if you believe in it, those would be the key areas as of now. Let's take a look at one more, and I apologize for not fixing the colors. I know it looks like a unicorn pooped out some Skittles here. What do we notice here, at least on the weekly, is that right now this is bullish. It's hanging above a lot of these moving averages, hasn't gone underneath it. If we zoom in even to the daily, what we can see here is we came down to some of those moving averages and had a lot of strong support here around 3. So right now it's going up. It's bullish. It's bullish because it's above the moving averages. It's bullish because we had a buy signal. We're overbought. Bullish, bullish, bullish. However, if it does come down to here, then you could say, all right, again, like I was telling you, $3, good area to start dollar cost averaging in. And what do you notice here? The long moving average, it's creeping up to the 0.5 at around 256. And so that might be the next area you look at, not just the fib, but now you have the moving average too. Again, me personally, I would look for some good buy-sell indicators and wait for a buy indicator to flash, at least on the weekly. This is on the daily, but at least on the weekly. And yes, it might be up here when it confirms. And maybe you don't get the exact mark, but it can be a way to have a safer play on your investment. You can use other buy-sell indicators that confirm it more, that have more of a lagging indicator. But let's just show the difference here. Whether you get let's say you get the very bottom, which is hard to do, and you get a 36% move, or I don't know where the buy signal verified. Let's say it was here because it's above this last candle. Let's say that's where the buy signal kicked in, and you only get a 25% gain in the immediate. Well, okay. But again, we're taking a look at investing strategy more so, or at least with crypto and altcoin, because we have these 4-year cycles, possibly getting an altcoin at a good value there and then trying to sell it when Bitcoin has its 4-year cycle top. And if you're wondering, how do I know when Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle top? There's a couple ways to know. One, you can take a look at the rainbow chart, and when it gets up into some of these ranges, you can have an exit strategy plan to dollar cost average out, take profits percentage at a time at certain levels. You can do that. There's indicators you can use, like the bubble risk indicator. You can look at certain levels. Bubble risk indicator is great. However, sometimes, kind of like fear and greed, the bubble risk indicator will be higher for lower prices sometimes. And so just know you should look at multiple different indicators. Again, don't try to time the very top. That's hard to do. You can even take a look at Pi Cycle Bitcoin high low. So far, macro-wise, we can go way back. Look at this. We've had Pi Cycle highs at the peak. Now, if you did this one, you would have missed this whole bull run. So that would have sucked. But this is way here in 2012. Not a lot of people knew about crypto back then. But Pi Cycle high at the top, Pi Cycle low at almost the near bottom. I think this was a true bottom, whatever. Pi Cycle high at the very top, Pi Cycle low at the bottom. Pi Cycle high at the top, and all the altcoins Bitcoin ran up to here. Was this the true top? Yes, it was. Okay, but all the damage was really done here. So if you would have sold here, I sold in here. That was the best time to sell if you would have held. Okay, but you can see we got above that Pi Cycle moving average, that white line. Now there's a lot of lines, I apologize. and then pi cycle low. We did have that FTX sell off here, but again, what's the difference whether you're selling at 18.7 or I mean buying in at 18.7 or buying in at 15,700? So sure, things might go lower, and it's not going to give you the very exact high or low, but it gives it pretty dang close. So let's move back to optimism. Last thing I want to talk about, guys, as far as any of these altcoins, when I do these altcoin of the day videos, I had a couple comments on my ACH video because I called it a shitcoin. Guys, whether we agree or disagree on the utility and the project potential fundamentals of any of these altcoins, that might just be a thing where we disagree on. And here's my reasoning for it. I've been in this space since 2017, and I've read up and researched so many projects that have utility, that have potential. There was Cardano, XRP, there is Chainlink, so many that when you go through a bunch of these and you read a bunch of these, it's like, okay, does this really have utility or does it not? And for me, I like utility to be tangible, something that I can see being used. In the 7 years I've been in the crypto space, the only places I've seen tangible utility are Bitcoin exchange machines that I've only seen. This is not me being mean, this is just me being honest. The only places I've seen Bitcoin exchange machines have been in third world countries I've traveled to and the ghetto of cities. That's the honest to God, truthful observation I have. That's the tangible utility I've seen thus far. And when there's an altcoin that's in the top 50, like Link, like Optimism, I'll give you a pass. I will say, you know what? It looks like it has strong potential for utility. It has a market cap in the billions. It's a top 50 altcoin. There's potential. Maybe this will turn into something. And if you've done your research, maybe you've seen those maps of how all these altcoins work together. Again, for most of us, outside of exchanging these altcoins for currency to gain profits, we're really not using this in our daily lives, okay, unless you've downloaded a special app that the common person doesn't know about. And so if you're upset I'm calling an altcoin a shitcoin because it's not even in the top 100 as a low market cap, that of a penny stock, well, then I guess we're just going to have to disagree, which is fine. And at the very least, what I am hoping to do is just present, again, some long-term investor type outlooks and perspective to help you know how to feel about the market when it goes up and down. And that is important. We have all these indicators, and TA, you can't base investing purely off of technical analysis. It is another tool in your toolbox. Fear and greed does not line up one-to-one with price. We've established that. Greed was as high as it's been since the very top. We are not at all-time highs. And even when greed was higher here, the price here was 4 times less than when it was here, something around there. So these are extra tools in our toolbox. We look for fear in the market. We look for things to be oversold on the RSI. You can use the MACD. That's another indicator that's great. You can use the pi cycle high-low. And right now we're looking at the weekly. You can see pi cycle high up there, but that really doesn't matter right now. We don't have a lot of chart to work with. You can use buy-sell indicators. So we're using fibs. So guys, whether we disagree on the utility of a coin and the potential of a coin, really doesn't matter, because what I am looking for here, at least for the casual, low to medium risk style investor, people new to crypto, is how can we maximize our value? Again, I'm going to leave the research up to you. I cannot research all 10,000 altcoins out there. Heck, even the top 100 on Coinbase. I don't have the time to research all of them. But if you give me a name of an altcoin, we'll take a look at the technicals. I'll read what it says. I'll be honest with you. I really won't care what it says. There are some I'm into, and I'll be straight with you. I'm in Link. I'm in ICP, IMX, SCI, Fetch. Those are some of the top ones I like, okay? There are some gamble plays, Jasmine and others. Charts look awful, but maybe it could be a 200x potential, more of an educated gamble, if you will, if you have some very much throwaway money because you might never see it again. But stuff that can maybe run up 50 to 200x in a 4-year cycle, blow off top. So there's some educated gambling plays, quote unquote. But again, all I'm looking for here, something we can agree on and see eye to eye on, is where are some good entry level plays. If I can present you guys with that, even if you're people that really believe in an altcoin, great. So that's the goal of my channel here is you guys are going to do the research on all your own stocks and crypto. And I'm going to show you what are some quick tools you can use in addition to your research, because you make your own financial decisions to say, okay, this is a good area to invest in the medium to long term. These are some technicals I can look at. I can look at where it is on the moving average, some possible pullback ranges on the fibs, some indicators, fear and greed, strength, etc., etc. So, and again, another part I'm going to reinforce with you guys is the psychology behind it, the fear and greed, the FUD and the hype. If you find yourself getting really anxious, oh, I'm going to miss, take a deep breath, go for a walk, write down a plan, come back, wait a day, at least, before you decide to get in and chase. Make a plan on where you can get more value, and if you miss it, you miss it. There's plenty of altcoins in the sea. You don't have to hit on one that you just heard about from a friend or a YouTuber and say, I have to get into this right now. Inversely, when things are selling off, it's easy to be dismayed and be like, why did I do this? I'm stupid. I don't know why I put money into this altcoin. Again, if you did your research, then when prices go lower and we get a flip and a buy signal on the monthly, something macro, and we are in fear and oversold, then I want to coach you guys how to be excited. That is how we buy bottoms. People talk like it's so easy. Oh, yeah, I buy bottoms, I sell tops. Bullshit. Most people who are the casual investors, they buy the hype and they sell the fear. That is the truth of what happens. This has happened to so many people I know the last 2 bull runs, 4-year cycles. Sorry for the long rant, needs to be said. People bought in here and they held on and they had to keep holding their bags until at least through here. I was able to sell and make some profits in here, but this sell-off was huge and it sucked. I did not sell in here my first time around, and I paid the price for it. And there were a couple altcoins that sold off way too much. I had to hold bags until here, until I finally got rid of them. Thank God. But there was a lot of potential I missed. And there are some people I know, they had $1,000 to 100,000, and there was all unrealized profits because they never sold. So we need to have an entry plan when things suck, when there's FUD, when FTX, one of the largest exchanges at the time, is going bankrupt and there's all this bad news. We need to be excited when we're here. And if you can't be excited to buy there, that means you don't know enough about the product and you shouldn't even be considering investing into it, frankly. If you know enough about the product, and when things are low, you can say, you know what? I'm excited. It looks like I'm getting probably a once in a decade opportunity, investment opportunity. That's what I want to teach you guys how to do. So there's the technical part, you're doing the research part, and together we are looking for areas to buy. So sorry for the long rant, needs to be said because that's all part of market psychology. I hope you guys understand. It's nothing personal. Again, we're all here to give each other constructive feedback, and some of the feedback I got about calling stuff shitcoin, that's fair. I get it. And I think we can agree that there are some things we can still do together to maximize your investment potential, and some ways that I can help you guys look for some of those opportunities and ways I can help coach you to not get psyched out when there are those opportunities. So I'm going to leave it there. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.